This is how to make chicken stock with a fall off the bone chicken and deep, beautiful stock color. All right, hello everyone. This is Matthew Cress of Cress Tactics, and today we're just going to do a really simple how to make chicken stock video, just in case you've never done it before. So all you really need is a good quality of preference chicken. This one I got at the farmer's market, and you will need nothing else besides, also a stock pot to cook this in. That's it. If you want to make it a little bit easier, if your stock pot is a little bit smaller, you should cut this up into pieces, which is what I'm going to do right now with a knife like this, a boning knife, or just a regular chef's knife, and scissors to cut any pieces that you want to cut with scissors. So without further ado, I'm just going to cut this up and then we'll put it into our stock pot. So as I cut, I am not a classically trained chef. Hang on, we are going to get rid of this wrapping paper. We'll do it on this nice cutting board. Basically what I like to do is I just pick up my piece and then I look at where it stretches, and that's where the skin is going to most easily come apart. And eventually, after a while, you do learn where the joints are, and you do learn, and don't be afraid to pop a joint just like that. And as a home cook that is not really caring about how the chicken looks butchered, my number one thing is find where the tension is on the skin, cut there, and then touch and feel for that joint. And then where that joint moves is where there will be cartilage that can separate. You can tell right there that there's some cartilage that can separate. And then my knife just glides right through it. And then eventually it just comes right off like that. All right, so now that I've cut everything up, this is the top of the chicken. These are the two sections of the back. This is the leg, and then I have my two wings right here. And this will all fit into my stock pot. Fill it up with water, let it go, and that's it. All right, so I fit all of my chicken pieces into my stock pot, and I am just going to fill it all the way up until it goes up past this top line here. And I want it to go above. I don't want anything to be sticking out of the top whatsoever. And I usually fill up this thing almost to the brim. And this thing, I'll just shimmy it on down and it'll be all good. Here, I need a little bit more. And I'll reorganize it so it does stay underwater. And we're all good. That's it. Now I'm going to add some salt. So salt is usually a pretty controversial thing about adding it to stock or broth, but you would not, in a culinary sense, and this is what we learned in culinary school, if you were going to make a reduction of your stock, then you would not salt it because you'd be salting your finished product at the very end. But because I'm going to be making soup, I want my actual stock to be not necessarily salty, but I want it to have salt in it so that there is flavor that can be developed. And if anything, if I've added too much salt at the very end, I can just add in more water to dilute that saltiness. But usually with the amount of meat that I've added in here and my 2 generous pinches of salt, I'm still going to be all good, and I still may even add salt later when I'm tasting this as the final product. Now, technically, you could be done say that seasonings should be added at the very end of your stock process, but I like to add it during the beginning so that I don't have to do anything later. And because I want to have everything be completely infused all at the same time, I don't want mysterious flavors being incorporated at the very end. I want it to be the same from beginning to end. And so I have some thyme here, some peppercorns here. I could have smashed these with a mortar and pestle if I wanted to, but we're going for easy here. And this is just some rosemary. And then afterwards, I might add some fennel, but that'll be about it. All right, so I've added some fennel, and I'm going to be done here. I want something rather basic. Yes, you can add vegetables if you want, but because this is just pure chicken stock and I'm just looking for chicken, I'm only doing chicken, herbs, and spices. No more. On a more complicated higher level chicken stock video, we'll go over full technique. And we'll talk about, roasting your chicken before. We'll talk about how long you are cooking your stock for. We'll talk about other things that you can add in to influence your flavors and have a better quality chicken stock. All right, we can hear that everything has come to a boil. And so obviously this is super hot. These bubbles right here, this foam that's come up, we are going to skim that off. One other thing to keep in mind as you are cooking is that you will see that when it comes to a boil, your joints, they are going to tighten. And so what that means is that they are going to seize and then they are going to relax when they are fully cooked through. So right now the proteins are getting really tense and so they're tightening up. So this right here, this joint is completely tight, but as it cooks, this will eventually relax and it will break down very easily. That being said, the reason why I'm saying this is because you can tell right now is that things are coming up above this water line. And so I'm going to try to reorganize this so that it does get a little bit more submerged. I will probably add a little bit more water to this just so that we get everything under the boiling water. All right, so now that we have skimmed off the majority of the scum from the top of our chicken stock, you can tell that we are starting to get a nice, beautiful yellow color, and that is chicken fat that has started to melt and that is rising to the top of our chicken stock. I'm going to keep that for the moment, and we are just going to keep cooking this on. We're going to let it come up to an even more aggressive simmer, and then we're going to turn it down. Well, actually, seeing it right here, it does seem to be pretty hot. And so I am going to turn this down to a low heat and I will start to let it go for a few hours. What we're working with, and I did move this to a back burner. Oh, that looks fantastic. Let's get a closer look. All right, so I'm just going to push around to get an idea of what we're looking at here. And it's been about 3 hours. And so I could have taken this much longer, but as you can tell, look at that. That is just falling apart with that beautiful color. So this is all done. All I have left to do is to separate the chicken from the stock and throw out these herbs and spices, and I'm all good to go, and I have successfully made chicken stock. So next, what I can do is after separating these chicken pieces is I will let the chicken stock cool down to room temperature and then in the fridge overnight, and we'll be able to look at the chicken stock and how the chicken fat separates and look at that color. And that will be truly the end of our chicken stock process. All right, so this is piping hot, but hot, but fall off the bone. Super good. So this is usually what I do when I make chicken stock or any other kind of stock. Every single time, I always will grab a bowl, put like a few drumsticks, a good chunk of meat in there with a good ladle of like that chicken stock while it's hot, while it's piping hot, and I'll set it on my table. I'll let it cool down while I separate my chicken and all of my stock from it. And by the time everything is in the fridge, I have a hot bowl of soup. Well, soup, it's just chicken stock and chicken, but it's so good. And I just go to town and it's the best ever. So that's what I do. You're more than welcome to do the same thing. All right, so just to give you a side view, no, I didn't strain this. It's whatever. They're just little chicken bits. It's fine. It'll all sink to the bottom when we are all done. But this right here, this is all chicken stock. And this right here, this is chicken fat. The amount of chicken fat that you get out of a chicken, I find it is indicative of how good quality of a chicken that you had in the beginning. So because I have a good quality chicken from the farmer's market, I'm going to get a larger fat layer on top. And if I were to go get the same type of chicken, well, a different type of chicken from the grocery store, I would always have less. And that is my experience. And so this is piping hot right now. So this is all liquid, but eventually this will all solidify and this will darken in color. This part will become a little bit more yellow and this one will stay. This color will actually not change that whole much. So this is just what a fresh strained of the chicken meat, chicken stock does look like. So stay tuned. I will let you know what it looks like tomorrow morning when it is all cool. Drinking some of my chicken stock now, hot off of the stove, and it is surprisingly not that salty from the amount of salt that I did add. And here's the rest of the chicken meat. Everything is actually, I've turned it upside down because I've poured the excess broth down here in the bottom, and I want my meat to sit in that broth so it doesn't dry out while it's cooling down. I like it to be in a wet medium so that it stays a really tender meat. And so that means that I have bones here up on the top. And this is right here. You can tell this is the neck right here. And then here I have that top layer. And then I've got a wing here and the drumsticks, like, you know, I ate those. They were delicious. And then all of this, maybe I'll make a soup. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be part of my regular meals. But this chicken is all going to be really good and it is ready to eat. All right, so good morning. It's next day. Look at that beautiful color. Okay, so as a reminder, there were I only used chicken, water, salt, and seasonings. There is no coloring from onion, carrot, or any other vegetable in here. This color, the deep color that you're getting, is only from chicken, which is also another fantastic sign of me using a high quality starter product. That chicken was directly from the farm here in France. And then I also have this fantastic milky color in my fat, which means that this is technically, it's called Schmaltz, which is chicken fat. And this would be great for like frying eggs in the morning. Oh, super excited. Anyway, so this is how you make chicken stock. Hang on, let's give it a smell. It smells like a liquid chicken. There's another word for it. It smells like chicken noodle soup, like really good chicken noodle soup. And so in the next video, what I'm going to do is I will show you how to properly use and, process this type of product and what you can best do with it. Like, for example, frying eggs in this schmaltz. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching my chicken stock video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.